Boy, it's been so long since I've done one of these. It might just be a hair out of practice. Well, boys and girls, all the ships at sea, I'm glad to finally get this one done. My friend Curtis ordered this thing for me 1.5 million years ago. Literally. I've had this for a while. This amp started out its life as a 2-pill LD Moss box. It did. And try to die as might, the boards that I had in here were not working. And this amp fought me from the very beginning. I got the piece of heatsink out that I originally laid the MOSFET parts down on. And the very first thing it did was break a drill bit off in the heatsink. Which after all these years and all the different experiences I've had, that's pretty rare for me that I actually kill those, right? I break a drill bit off in the heatsink. Next thing it did was it broke a tap off in the heatsink. And when you get that feeling of like, oh my God, I'm never going to get this amp done. That's the feeling I started having with the LD Moss in this box. This thing ate 8 MOSFETs before I finally said, you know, I want to do something different. And part of the problem was the board design that I had slaved myself to with this particular cabinet would only let me use this particular cabinet. So I called Curtis. I said, Curtis, what do you want to do? And Curtis was super cool about it. He goes, man, build me something different. I said, well, what do you want? I'll trade you out or I'll buy you out of it. And he goes, man, why don't you build me a 50-volt bipolar? They do more watts, don't they? I was like, well, yeah, I can get a 50-volt bipolar to fit in this thing. He goes, well, put 8 transistors in there and I'll never overdrive them and it'll last me forever. So I said, well, Curtis, those produce more heat than the MOSFET box. So that means I'm going to have to do another fan. He goes, I don't care. Just get it done. So I started on this thing before I went to Hawaii. And now that I'm home, I told him the very first box that came out of here would be this one. Because it technically got started before I started that 48 pill that's sitting over there that's coming up next. You might see me do an ad video for a Henry. I've got a Henry 2KD4 floor model sitting over here I got to go through. And I'm so excited. I'm proud of myself. I love tools. And to be able to work on that Henry properly, I had to order these set of Allen wrenches. And they're not Allen wrenches, they're 6 or 8 point wrenches. Very rare. Thank God Henry still sells them because I bought myself a set of these. So anyhow, I need those to take the front off that Henry because I got to take the whole amp deck apart and I've got to modify it a little bit and repair some other people's handiwork that was in it. Anywho, you're going to see an ad for that. I've also got a Henry 2KD5 and a Drake that are coming up here that are going to be going up for sale here very quick. So you're going to see those videos come out, but the next production thing you see come out of here is going to be that 48 pill over there in the corner, which is done, by the way. I'm waiting for more of these fans to come in. These are pretty cool. These fans, ADDAs. These are 137 CFM a piece. Otherwise, they put out a lot of shmoo. A lot of shmoo. I mean, they really put out the air pressure. If I don't have the cabinet bolted shut on this amp, there's so much air pressure actually that it causes the screw holes to whistle. Yes, it does. But the upside of that is when we go and we run it with like 125 watts of drive, because that's really all you want to put into this. Maybe a 2-pill 2290 box max, maybe about 220 watts at the most. You can't really overheat it. Now I've been running the dog piss out of this thing. And now you guys are going to notice these 2 chokes that are here. This is to help noise suppression. Without these chokes, there's going to be a ton of noise in the receive of whatever you plug into this. With the chokes in, 0. And that's what I spent my day playing with, is adding these suppression chokes in here, which is 2 pieces of type 43 ferrous rod wrapped with, well, you guys can count the turns if you want. The other thing that Curtis wanted is he wanted this thing to glow orange. Now, initially I had these beautiful semi-translucent LED fans that were this beautiful orange, just beautiful orange, but they didn't provide enough airflow. So we had to set those aside. And the other thing he wanted was this thing to have underlight to it, so that the bottom side of this thing would just glow orange. Okay? Well, we added an underlight kit to it. As a result, that's the reason we're shooting on the linoleum desktop here instead of on a towel. I think this is the first time I've ever shot a video without a towel underneath the amp. We're going to shoot this on a linoleum top because I want you guys to be able to see the orange glowing out of it. And the last thing that this thing fought me on was, well, the coating that's on the outside of this. I bought a semi-textured black paint, which was really pretty. And I painted the cabinet, and then I found nothing would stick to it. And when I mean nothing would stick to it, I mean literally nothing would stick to it. I put my logo on it, in 3 minutes, boop, fall off. Same thing with the labels on the front and the back. So what I did is I lightly sanded down the coating, and then I put like 14 layers of clear on the thing. Really, it was like 4 or 5. I put another layer on the face today because I'm still having a hard time getting my label to stick to it. I am never using this coating ever again. Ever, 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 ever again. This box has fought me since day one. It did not want to come into existence. It did not want to do what I wanted it to do, but I think we finally tamed its demons. So to compensate for not having the 120 millimeter beautiful semi-translucent fans, and we had to go with the high CFM, high air pressure, we had to build everything very short, and I had to place everything just specifically to make room for these incredibly tall fans. Here, I'll give you an idea. Let me grab these semi-translucent friggin' schmecular pumps that I've purchased for this thing. I'll back off and we'll give it some perspective. You see that height difference there? The thickness in the fans is what we're addressing here. Anyhow, that's an all aluminum bodied 120 millimeter fan, and they shouldn't get with the program. But to overcome that, to make it so it glows orange, we had to add a few LEDs to it. Now normally we'd only put like 1 strip, maybe 2 in there, but it just wasn't glowing enough to make me happy. So we started stacking LEDs. And if it still doesn't glow bright enough for you, Curtis, you let me know and I will throw 15 more strips of LEDs in here and we will make this son of a bitch glow. All right, one more little quick overview of it here. Let me back off here and I'm going to take a picture. We'll set this thing down. Let me put the lid on it and we'll get on with the testing. Give me just a second. Right now you're all going, what the hell? Check it out. This amp glows, man. It's real subtle, though. I mean, it's really subtle. Give me just a second. Now, I was going to shoot a reference. I've got a 2-pill LD Moss box that's in a cabinet close to this, and I use it as my personal driver. It's got completely different generational boards in it. And instead of 2 fans, it's got 3. It's 1, 2, 3. The same style fan in it that I use to cool that amplifier. And it's not that loud. I can't hear it on any of the video gates I do, and no one can hear it in the background. And I'm so used to listening to it run, I thought for sure it was quieter than this. It's actually louder than this. But I'm sure the microphone on this camcorder isn't going to do us justice here, so. But we're moving some air, I'm here to tell you. We'll back off this a little bit. It's not that bad. It's really not. Listen to the power supplies. Now we're off. Okay. Let's show you what we're working with here. So we turn on a peak kit. It's a 1,000 watt slug and peak, 1,000 in average, 5 watt slug and reverse. We're going to start out with 955. Go down here and turn these on. Hello. What's going on? Oh yeah, loose power plug. Okay, so we're going to fire down on our 955, and we're going to use our 5 watt slug from the 955 into the 8 pill 50 volt box. Now, Curtis, you stretch this thing all the way out, you're going to get about 4,000 watts. You're going to have to drive it real hard to get it there. It's got a 3,200 watt power supply in it. So we're asking a little bit much of that power supply, but it is what it is. It's absolutely the latest and greatest in technology as far as bipolar technology goes. So first off, let me show you drive. It's a 1,000 watt slug and peak. Hello, audio. Average. Hello, audio. Hello, audio. Nothing in reverse. Talking through the box. Hello, 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 hello. Beautiful. Hello. Hello. That's with 90 watts of drive, Curtis. This to 955. So I'm going to put that up on 2x. So now full deflection for this thing is 2,000 watts, right? Disappears that needle in the corner. Over 2,000 watts of power, fairly effortlessly. We're going to drop that down to 5x. So now full deflection over here is 5,000 watts, 4,000 watts, 3,000 watts, 2,000 watts, 1,000 watts, 0 watts. Okay? About 2,700 peak. With about 650 on average. On average. Bird. Not teabag. Well, half a watt of input reflect, so nice and low. Brother, this thing's just going to run and run and run if you run it with a 955. And I mean run forever and ever and ever. Now let's step this up real quick. I'm going to cut away for a second, come back, we're going to be on the Conex. We're going to run the thing on up to about 3,200 watts. We'll be back. Okay, so here we go again, you guys. Now I've adjusted this. This is a 1,000 watt slug. Okay, we've taken the 5 peak multiplier offline. 1,000 watt slug still MPEP, or average, I mean. 5 watt slug in reverse. We're now on the Conex 4400. 5 watt slug between the Conex 4400 and of course the 8 pill 50 volt box. So let me show you drive in peak. Hello. About 110, 115 peak watts. So we're going to put 20 whole more watts of drive into this thing, Curtis. Hello. About 60 watts average. Watch what it does now. I forgot. My bad. BBI is bad. I left it in 1x. Let's go down to 5. So now this is reading like a 5,000 watt slug. 5, 5,000, 4,000, 3,000, 2,000, so on and so on. Okay. Now we got that established. No problem. 3,300 watts. Well over 1,000 birds. Curtis, like I explained to you, a little bit limited with the power supply inside this thing, but of course, Ideally, I'd want to have those 8 transistors on a bigger hunk of heatsink. I mean, literally, it is crammed on the smallest amount of heatsink that I could get in there. So this is where this thing's going to run for you, man. 3,200, 3,500 at the most. I mean, if you drive the holy poop out of this thing, you're going to get 4,000 out of it. I mean, seriously. Every 2-pill section in this thing will allow it to produce roughly 1,000 watts. So, 200 watts max. Curtis, please listen to me on that. 200 watts max. Max. 200 watt. That's it. We're done. It's finally done. Now, the biggest dilemma I have in my world right now is that the warranty sticker is going to stick in place, or are they going to flop off? Because it seems like no matter what I do, stuff won't stick to this cabinet, even though I've cleared it and sanded it and cleared it again. This texture is a little bit rough, but if you notice the faceplate's like super slick and smooth, it's because the faceplate's got 4 or 5 layers of clear on it. And I'm still having a hard time getting stuff to stick to it. So, Curtis, if the labels fall off, I'll get you new stickers, buddy, but I don't think you're going to have a problem. Oh my God, I am so glad this is done. This amp has been a bane in my thorn in my finger in a meat grinder. It's done. And I'm sure it's going to last you a long time. Curtis, I appreciate your patience, and I can't say that enough. Curtis has been super cool. Curtis, we hit another snag. It's like, ring, 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 ring. Curtis, we hit another snag. He's like, okay, I don't care. Just make it right. I don't care. Make it right. He's been super cool with me. And listen, guys, I've only got a couple more to go. I mean, no joke. I've only got a couple more to go. So please be patient with me. I'm going to slowly crank these things out as best I can. Meanwhile, trying to keep the repair side of the business afloat. So on that note, guys, thank you. I appreciate you all. I don't get to be here without you guys sending me projects, watching my videos, clicking like, and hitting the subscribe button. Now, gentlemen, if you are watching this channel for the very first time, click subscribe. And also, there's that other button down there that says notifications. If you don't click that little notifications button, YouTube will no longer notify you that I have put up a new video. So keep that in mind too. On that note, I'm out. Gentlemen, my name is BBI, and without a shadow of a doubt, I am the biggest mud duck in Idaho. Come find me on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, of course, right here on the U Gargler. And I honestly mean this every single time I say it. I appreciate your all's support. I don't get to be here without all of you. All right. On to the next big thing. The next new hunk of technology. The next thing I'm going to beat my head against the table going, why doesn't it work? We're off to the races and running. I'll see you guys. Thank you, Curtis. She's all yours now, my friend. We'll see you. Bump, bump.